everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Ari. I am here with my co-host Fati, and today we have a very special guest, and we're going to talk about a few things. And in our minds, when we interview people, we like to get certain individuals that have an expertise or a skill or a talent in certain areas. And our guest today definitely meets those requirements of being a super successful person in something that touches all of our lives. And this is why we want to kind of get into it. But before I say too much, let me just introduce Foti Stamos, my co-host. Hello, Foti.
Also, Ari, thank you so much for that great introduction as always. And I'm going to also agree that, we have very interesting guests. We have very interesting subject and topics. And this one for us specifically is one I've been waiting for, because in our personal lives, we discuss, how important it is about starting a family, building, pivoting, we use all these words. And our guest today, which I'm going to introduce right now, definitely is someone that works behind the scenes to make our lives a little more fruitful and better in the sense of putting us in a nice home. So without further ado, let me introduce George Kutos. George Kutos, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the show.
I'm honored, and I want to thank you both for what you're doing for our Greek community to keep the contact and keep us grounded on our Greek roots. I'm very proud of what you do. I'm very, very proud of my Greek heritage, the religion, and everything we're all about. And I was getting concerned because I feel like as we get more assimilated into America, we lose something. And your generation, I'm a little bit older, but your generation was really a wonderful group. That you had the Parea, you had the Greek nights, you were a very cohesively knit group. And in my generation, same thing. Goya dances. I was always very involved with the church and the Greek culture. My clients, it was all 7 days a week. I was around that, and I loved it. But I feel like we're losing it a little bit, and COVID didn't help. Right. So again, I want to thank you both for your energies that you're putting into this.
Our pleasure, George. And I totally agree that as we get older, and you're not that much older than us, so I think we're right there together.
So I'm 39, so you guys are 29?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, wonderful.
Is that, to your point, we've become a different generation as far as we've progressed in our place here in the US as Greek Americans, career-wise, development-wise, but we're also finding ourselves being a little disconnected to our culture because we're so busy, right? That's what we hear all the time. We're very busy, but that doesn't mean, though, we can kind of take a step back and understand that we do have the ability and the resources to bring us back together. So this is one example of putting together this platform to actually continue to keep us together. So yes, I agree with what you just mentioned.
Awesome. And it's funny because to add to this conversation, we tend to have people on our shows that excel in something, or show a talent in something, or are famous for one reason or another. And George, you are somebody who I don't know if we've ever physically met. I don't recall if we have, but I know your name and I know of you for years and years from various people. And you're not like a TV celebrity, you're not a movie star, you're not these things, but you're so well known. So you are, quote unquote famous because of your success in what you do. And these are the types of things that we're really interested in. These are the types of things we think that everyday Greek life and everyday Greek people love to hear about. And this is why we're so excited to have you on the show with us, because you bring that element of it's real life, but again, you're a very, I'm going to say, a very successful person in your field, and you're the right person to talk to about this type of thing. But before we get into what you're doing now, can you tell us just a little bit of history about you, where you're from, where you grew up, and how you kind of got into what you're doing?
Absolutely. Well, thank you. And again, I'm honored to be on the show, and thank you. I also consider you both famous. And Ari, I've seen your name. We haven't. I work all the time, so from many people always, saying your accolades, singing your accolades. Foti, I've known personally. We've met face to face over the years, and I have great respect as well. But yes, a little bit about me. I grew up in downtown Lynn, in a 3-family with Yayam Papu on the 2nd floor, my uncle Louis on the 3rd floor, my godfather, surrounded by Greek family, cousins, uncles, living that, no backyard, but out in the streets, playing with my cousins, Greek friends, walking to church, perfect attendance for 9 up until 9th grade. My mother, with the Lurida, you're going to go to church. Goya's, I was on the board for 16 years of the St. George Church. My great grandfather was the 2nd president 100+ years ago. So my roots are, I don't live in Lynn anymore, but my roots are in that church. Passionate about my culture, my religion, my people. I love to see my Greek compatriots rise and do well. I've helped thousands of people, lift them and help them with financing and many other things. But I'm just very passionate about what we're all about. And I'm honored to be able to, talk a little bit about this. I started off working at Sears in high school in collections. So that was my first experience.
Nice.
collecting credit card debts. I moved into the banking world while I was in college doing collections for the banking world. And then as soon as I graduated, I moved right into the mortgage department. So my entire adult life from when I was 22 years old, I've been in bank, all facets of banking, mortgages throughout the whole time, but all facets of running the bank in terms of, you name it, every single aspect. Credit, teaching seminars, educating people in all aspects of their retirement planning, you name it, very, very passionate about lifting people. So that's my background. Now, after I left the credit union, I've been in the mortgage world for over 20 years, running the region for Cross Country Mortgage. It's a $55 billion company. I was the first group that, I brought this region to Cross Country Mortgage, and we have several branches in the area. So again, we have a group of people, but I also have my own team. There's about 12 of us on my team. We've helped about $2.5 billion of clients over the years, over almost 9,000 clients. Passionate about it, not just about here's a mortgage, but financial planning. So when I look at them, it's about putting them in a position for success. I do a lot of education of first-time home buyers, move-up buyers, realtors. I introduced the Lieutenant Governor last week to the Realtor Association. Passionate about educating everyone that's involved so that no one gets hurt, because there's a lot of shysters in the industry 10, 15 years ago. And luckily, they've been weeded out, most of them. So, we just want to bring awareness and what's going on, and obviously a very tough climate that we're in right now with inflation. So again, trying to help people make sure they make the right moves and, perfect their financial picture.
Can I ask you,
in a nutshell? Sure.
Just very quickly, you say you teach and you educate your clients, and and when you worked for collections and all these things, you basically you're informing people on what they need to do or how to do it or what they're doing wrong. Do you see that today, people I take myself as an example. I am so clueless when it comes to finances and when it comes to mortgages and such. Do you see that that's the case a lot nowadays?
It's shocking, the mystery of buying a home and the financing. So what I like to do is I like to get people early, even as early as a year in advance, because I want to look at their credit first. A lot of people have student loans. A lot of people have high debts, so coming from the banking background, I look at their entire picture, whether we should consolidate their student loans, whether they should be paying off credit cards. They putting too much in their 401k. My background is tax planning and financial planning and all of those things. So I want to make sure that we position them. It's not like, hey, let's give you a mortgage. No, it's like, are we going to put you in a position for success? If you're not ready now, it could be 6 months, it could be a year down the road. And I'm intimately involved to make sure that they're going to be safe. And I don't want bad business. I only want things that are going to lift people. I slept on a couch till I was 18 years old, and my passion is helping people get into a home. So I'm very passionate about that, but I want to make sure that we position them for success and not put them in bankruptcy court or lose their house.
Do you think, and again, I'm just off the top of my head, do you think it would be like something that would be valuable? You know how you're in high school and you learn, your history, you learn your math, you learn this, you learn that.
Mhm.
I think hearing you speak and seeing my lack of knowledge on all these aspects, wouldn't it be a good idea, or maybe this is bad for your business, I don't know, but wouldn't it be a good idea if, like in high school, you had to take a class to understand finances, to understand credit, to understand taxes a little bit more than what most of these, America's graduates come out of high school understanding?
Ari, that is such an important thing that you just said. I was pre-med. My kubaro, the two Greek mothers from the old country, my Billy is going to be a doctor, and my mother, I said I'm going to be a doctor, right? So I was pre-med. I worked at Mass General. I was, interning there, and I was the most depressed guy on the planet. I took a course in college about financial management, personal finance, and it was like hearing the music from the heavens. Like this is what I'm all about: is money and finances, and saving money and creating wealth. And I at that point decided that the 3 years that I spent doing that, I needed to switch gears and go into more of the business, finance, and economics, and helping people with their finances. And in the meantime, I was working in the bank and seeing this stuff, but I just didn't realize that was my calling. But yes, one thing, when I was at the credit union, there was a program that I was teaching fifth graders about. It was called Savings Makes Sense. So it was a 14 section segment class on bartering, credit, how to save money. And I would physically go there every 2 weeks. We match their initial down deposit into their account. We would give them, they'd come in with their passbook, they would deposit money and see how the interest accumulated. In those days, you used to get interest. It was probably 5% back then.
Oh
But
my
you
God.
would see their money growing. And we had about 50 to 60 kids that participated, fifth graders. And they competed statewide in the competition. They came in second or third in the state. But I was passionate about, people come out of Harvard and they don't know anything about their money. It's mind blowing. They're starting to do a little bit better. Some of the school systems now have a money class, but it's come out with book knowledge, but no life skills. So this is one of those that I would promote. If I was in a position that could affect change, I would do that.
Well, if I can interject, so whether, to Ari's point, this is implemented into the school system at some point. In the meantime, the Kutos team is such a valuable team for all of us who are trying to get to that next step in life. And I personally can say that thanks to the Kutos team, I was able to be positioned into that next chapter in my family's life because of the fact that I was educated by George and his team. They make it very easy and thorough to understand what's needed and how to actually take the steps to direct yourself without damaging losses of money or time. So that's why I believe that we talk about a lot of important subject matters, but this is just as important, because without individuals like George, you could find yourself, in a very setbacks, losing money or prolonging where you want to get to. So I just want to commend you on your vision and the way you apply your services. It's the way you apply it that's, to me, more important than anything.
Thank you, Fortier. I do appreciate that. Yeah, it's a passion of mine. It's something that, I only want to see people thrive. And when someone calls me and said, George, thank you, you made a difference, that's what fuels me every day. So again, that gets me up. I'm excited every day. I'm super pumped up to get there and make a difference and do the right thing. And but yes, yeah, thank you. I appreciate
it. Between me and you, George, not that this is a secret, because we're going to go public with this interview, so my wife is probably going to beat me, but I'm trying to get back to Boston. And once I do convince her to move back here, I gotta see you, so I can organize myself.
Well, Ari, that was part of the deal. In order for us to get this interview, you have to get a mortgage from George.
That's right. Yeah, you didn't get that email.
See, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
I love it. Love it.
But I love the fact that we could talk about this stuff, but we've never really kind of discussed anything formal. But if you are ever interested in doing any sort of like, webinars or classes or talking about this stuff, you have a platform with us anytime. We would love it because it is truly important. If I didn't have any sort of, whenever I have any sort of financial issues, I like pass it off to like my sisters, if it's like family oriented, my wife, if it's like us. I'm an idiot when it comes to this stuff. So it's super important, especially in this demographic and age group. And I know there's a lot of us out there because I talk to my friends, my social circle. Some of them are savvy, but most of them are just not. And people like you, George, are a needed, knowledge base to help us along. And we've said it once and we've said it again, but this would be so great if people could contact you. And actually, speaking of contact, can we get your website and any sort of contact for you? I mean, I'll post it in the notes, but we like to announce it as well.
Yeah, I mean, if they go on georgekoutsos.com, that will get you to my main webpage, and my phone number is, will be there, my email address. I love to talk to people. I'm fine with any method, if it's texting or emailing, but I also really love to connect because I think something's lost when there's something this important. It should be a phone call. My cell number is 781-864-0889. And, Arita, just to finish the point, in the past, you could go see a few homes, make an offer, get it accepted, and close in 45 days. Mm-hmm. Statistically, there's about 12,000 single-family listings on the market in Massachusetts around this time of the year. This year, there was only about 2,100. So we're about 1/6 of the available homes for sale. So what's happening, it's become the most competitive marketplace ever in history, combined with higher rates. So having people that know how to navigate, and that's, to give credit also, I have a lot of Greek realtors I deal with, and I would love to maybe do a combination realtor side perspective and the lending side perspective, and do maybe a move-up buyer. So a lot of our Greek clients have homes, but they want to buy another one, but they've given up. There's ways to navigate this move-up buyer situation that you'll have success. We have a lot of keys and tools that will make it successful. And we have some awesome realtors that know how to get offers accepted, when there's 30, 40 people bidding on the same home. So I would love to do something like that with you both.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
And to your point, George, our audience, I can safely say that we touch an audience that's relatively in the same age group as us, mainly, who are either self-employed or they're at high-level positions in their respected industry, that are probably either interested in getting into a home, or, to your point, are interested maybe in getting into a investment. And because of that, are there any maybe quick tips that you can provide in this segment to our listening audience? Not to go into detail, but any tips that you can just share out there, just to kind of give somebody a bite to think of. Yes,
thank you. So for my move-up buyers, most of you have a lot of equity because homes have gone up over 40% in the last 3 years. So if you think you want to sell or sell and buy in the next year, come, speak with me as soon as possible, because there's things I can do to be able to allow you to buy a home without actually having to sell your home first, because that's a stressful thing, selling and buying. We can time it so that you buy, then sell without a contingency. I have the tools to be able to navigate you from one house to the next. No contingency, having the equity in hand to be able to beat the other competitors. So talking to me as early as possible. So if we need to get a home equity line to have your equity in your hand, I have a product that allows you not to count the debt on your home that you're leaving. So just call me, and I gladly would love to hear your specific situation. There's no one size fits all in this industry. It's everyone has a different roadmap.
Excellent. I have one more question.
Sure.
Are you able to conduct transactions out of Massachusetts?
Yes, all 50 states, including Hawaii. So maybe someday I'll open the Hawaii. Yes, so all 50 states we can assist our clients.
Oh, that's great.
Excellent. you know, having said all this, now that you put this bug in my ear, we definitely want to bring you back for another round with possibly a segment that you just mentioned, bring on a realtor perspective with a mortgage perspective. We'll definitely talk to you off air and discuss a plan for that.
Sure.
I mean, this has been great. It's been an honor on our part as well. We want to thank you for joining us. I want to thank you for your continued service with our family as well, and our friends that we've actually networked with.
Yes. Yeah.
Ari, if you have any last minute.
Yeah, again, thank you so much for your time. We know you're a busy guy, and we want to thank you so much. And very, very important to me, and I think Foti as well, is any sort of continued dialogue and anything that we could inform the public that you think is useful and helpful. We are so down for that. So anytime, we'll be in touch anyway. And we just want to thank you again for being with us and for bringing that knowledge that you have.
Well, thank you so much to the two of you as well. I know how busy you both are. And again, keep up the great work. And I look forward to connecting again. I'd love to do maybe some kind of a monthly series, bringing on different viewpoints, financial planners, some realtors, you know, Greek experts to help everybody involved.
That would be amazing. And we absolutely look forward to that. So again, thank you so much, George. We're going to have all your information and contact info in the notes, and everybody heard it here as well. Thank you, Foti. And thanks everybody out there for watching and listening. And we will see you guys next time. Have a great day, great week, and
let me add,
happy Easter coming up.
Hello, Pascha, everybody. Kali Anastasi.
All right, thanks everybody.
Take care, guys.
Take care.
Thank you. We'll see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.